first of all, when the old breaks apart, when people are in crisis, we need contact. We are relational beings, you know, especially in relationship breaks up or in big crisis in life, or you lose your job, or some people now have lost all their money suddenly, you know. We have big crisis, and in that crisis, we tend to feel very, very traumatized, you know, and we become completely anxious, over anxious, or we become numb, or we don't feel anything, you know, or we become very, very mindy. We start work, trying to make it better again. So our personality structure comes out in the most obsessive way often. And especially at that time, I think to have contact with people and to share with people and to hear, you know what, I'm really, I'm in a difficult place, and somebody who really listens to you. And that is, of course, something we have to learn. We haven't learned to listen. You know, we learn to listen and then, whoa, what can I say? Yeah, we haven't really learned to listen to another. We haven't really learned to really make contact. But I think real contact, real connection is something that is so essential for human beings and that we all crave for. And yet we haven't learned to really connect from our heart, from our bodies, you know, and from our mind, not only from the mind, yeah, where we just exchange news or dramas, you know, but how can I connect from my whole being? And once, of course, we need some help to find that. We need help to connect with our body, especially when we're in big shifts, but also in normal life. You know, we're not used to connect with our body, and that's, of course, is my place, and I'm there to help people to connect with themselves. I'm a kind of holding a bigger container. It's like saying, no matter what you go through, you know, step by step by step, walk your path, you know, in a way, helping people to walk their path with, and giving them, I can't give them anything anyway, but creating a space where people can start to trust again, you know, where they can trust themselves, where you can see this is a rhythm of life, you know, just like we have sunlight and we have the night. It's not sunlight all day long. You know, there's a night. There's 8 hours where everything goes still and quiet. You know, so what can we learn from the rhythm of life, and how can we be part of life and not trying to control everything? What, of course, we learn in school from early on, control everything, make everything happen. You know, the ego tries to run the show until eventually, you know, you fail or it doesn't work out.
Mm. And I know you've done so much work in your life. You worked with people for 45 years or more, and you've done so much of your own personal development work. So that's what I think is one of the main assets, of course, when you do this work with people. You can hold a space because you've been to the dark places inside and the light as well. So that's how you can guide us a bit.
Yeah.
What has helped you on your journey?
That's a good question. Well, mostly what helps me on my, I mean, different things. You know, many years ago when my husband suddenly died, of course, that was like a big changing point in my life. Suddenly I was 32, he was 33, and suddenly death is there. And it's just like in 1 second, you can lose almost everything. Of course, not everything, but a lot. And that made me stop in my tracks, and in every way. And I don't think I will ever forget that again, that our being here is limited. You know, our physical presence is limited. You know, and we always play as if things go on forever, you know, as if I have time. And suddenly it's like, no, that time doesn't exist in that way. So there was a wonderful wake-up call for me, and I've been working with death and dying and letting go and being able to, and help us to be in the moment and really live this life and not just like rush through it, you know, to get to the goals that I have set in my mind, or trying to make money and trying to have a big bank account. The truth is, when we die, you can't take your credit card with you, you can't take your kids with you, you cannot take your mom with you, not your beloved. You will die with empty hands. And can I really be present in that moment and not be in fear or in unconsciousness? That is what always has driven my need for transformation. And of course, in that I have, explored many, many different modalities just to help myself, help my inner level of anxiousness that I, of course, have. Then I had a big separation in 2000. So then I started to look into trauma work, but only because I noticed my own trauma. And then I started to totally shift my work towards that was more trauma oriented, trauma healing oriented. And to look at the underlying level of anxiousness that I have. And that work really, really seems to have helped me a lot. And of course, I use it a lot in my work as well. And then, of course, for me, most important thing today, and has been always, is really meditation. It is regularly sit with yourself and orient myself towards being versus towards doing. Have some space inside where I'm at home in my inner, in my heart, where I'm at home with being, not with doing. We're so much run by doing, do, make it happen, but just rest in that space of being where I can really hear the birds and I can hear my heartbeat and I'm just fine with what is. So for me, meditation is the one and only real existential miracle cure. Unless you practice it every day, unless you're with it every day, it's not going to just happen. So for me, it's something that I have to be with. It's just like being with essence, being with what is really, being with that part of me that is undisturbed by anything and that is straight, directly connected to existence.
Beautiful. And I know also from my experience, I mean, I'm a mother, I have a full-on life just like most of us, and it's not so easy maybe to take that time. So that's also why we created this course, to set a space where time is taken and you will make it happen and you will have time for practice. And I want to say maybe something about the structure of these 4 Saturdays that we're doing together with you. Maybe you want to say something about how it will, like what will we do together in that time?
So what we will do, we will, of course, this is a time, especially because of this isolation time and lockdown and different variations that we all had to go through. It's a time for reflection. So in each part, we will look at particular themes. The first part, we will review our lives. We'll sit back and look at, how have I really lived? Have I really lived to how I feel, I would like to really live? Or have I missed the mark because I've been so busy making money, or I've been so lost in bringing up the kids, as it easily happens. I'm a mother also. I know how easily it is to get lost in children, and many, many other ways. Or have I lost in my aloneness, whatever it is. So we're reviewing life, and then there will be a piece of teaching. Then I will give an inquiry to that teaching. So people will meet in threes and come together, and they each have time for sharing. In a beautiful way, we learn to really listen and not to just do social blah blah talk. And after that, we take a break because we want to get away from the computer and hug a tree or have a cup of tea or whatever your home situation is. And then the last hour, I will do a guided meditation that will really bring that space of meditation or allow ourselves to touch that place inside, according to the question. And then we will do question and answers where I will do some individual work with people. So each part will have a particular theme. So that theme will be true according to, the first one is, have I really lived? The second one we look at, have I really loved? Have I ever dared to open up my heart? You know, of course, we all opened our heart at one point, but many of us have closed our hearts and shut down and settled for less. You know, and how can we deal with that? And what are the woundedness that we carry inside that stops us from really being here? You know, and that stops us from living our lives. And then the third one, we were going to look at the liminal spaces. You know, how can I allow myself to be in between? And how many liminal spaces have you had in your life? And what happened? And how was that for you? And how can I learn to contain this unknowingness without immediately trying to run into the future and make it happen, yeah? Or going to the past and get some kind of, you know, strange new ideas that will give me a certain security, because it's learning how to live with security, how to live with impermanence and insecurity. And that, of course, is a big piece. You know, how can I dare to live in that I don't know space, and not I know everything and, you know, I read every book of the planet. No, I really don't know. I don't know what will happen next. I don't know where we're going to go. I don't know if we're going to go for holidays. You know, I don't know if the kids will go to school or not. Yeah. Do I then get angry and do I, you know, fight the government, or what do I do with it? Yeah. So, and to allow that space, I think is very important for, and then out of that something new can happen. And of course the last part will be some rebirth. What wants to be reborn inside of you? What is that? You know? And what is the rhythm of your inner growth and of your inner transformation? We each have a very, very individual rhythm. Everybody's different. You know, and I hope I can support and contain and help you to find that for yourself, so you have more trust in what your life is about, because we each have very different tasks, we have very different challenges. Yeah. So, and you know, just to allow you to recognize it, see it, get an understanding, and then have some support with other people also to how to be with yourself, you know, how to live this life.
Great. And we also created this private Facebook group for the participants in these groups, so they can also have connection and share in between the course Saturdays. Yes. So I know you often speak about that, how important it is for people to connect.
Yes, I think it's so important, you know, especially now people find out, because so many people, of course, I've seen who have been isolated in the lockdown, and people are just so longing for connection. Yeah, somebody just hold me or hug me or look at me or something, you know. But I must say the online courses have helped so many people. So many people are writing to me and are so grateful and say, hey, I'm so grateful that you provide this space. We can once a week can calm down and settle in and meet some other people who have similar, you know, who also have their problems and who are willing to be open in the sharing. And people are so, it's so helpful.
So, wonderful. I look forward so much, Turiya, to these Saturdays. I look forward incredibly. Thank you for doing this.
And thank you, Candra, because you're holding a wonderful, amazing space. I really, really appreciate how you hold it, how you do the whole thing. I mean, you're doing such a good job. I'm very, very impressed. So thank you.
It's a pleasure. And now we look forward to meeting all of you guys who want to check this out. You can read on our new website, where we posted a lot of different information, everything you need to know more about these 4 Saturdays. You can join 1 or 2 or 3 or all 4 as you wish. And if you're financially very challenged in this moment, you can still join. You can write to us and we'll set something up for you, so you can participate anyhow if you really, really want to. Okay?
Thank you. Very welcome to everybody. I'm looking forward to meet you all again, and I know we will do a beautiful, beautiful retreat together. It'll be really beautiful. I can just feel it.